I'm standing in the most expensive bridal boutique in Manhattan. White dress, lace sleeves, the kind of gown little girls dream about. My bridesmaids are smiling, champagne glasses everywhere. The consultant is pinning the hem. Then the door slams open. My future mother-in-law walks in. Victoria Kingsley, fur coat, diamond earrings, face like stone. She doesn't knock, doesn't smile, just stares at me like I'm something she stepped in. Take it off. Everyone freezes. My best friend Sarah sets down her glass. The consultant backs away. I don't move. Excuse me? Victoria steps closer. Her perfume is expensive. Her voice is ice. You heard me. Take off that dress. My son is not marrying trash from a trailer park. The room goes silent. My bridesmaids look at the floor. Sarah's hand goes to her mouth. The consultant pretends to check her phone. I can feel my face burning. My hands start shaking. This woman has insulted me for 6 months, but never like this. Never in public. Get out, I whisper. She laughs. Actually laughs. You get out. This wedding is canceled. Ethan will do what I say. He always does. You were fun for him. A little charity project. But you're not life material. You're not Kingsley material. She turns to leave. Stops at the door. Be grateful I'm ending this now, before you embarrass yourself further. The door closes. I stand there in this $1,000 dress, tears running down my face. Mascara probably ruined. My perfect day destroyed in 60 seconds. Sarah rushes over. I'm so sorry, but I'm not listening, because something inside me just snapped. Not sadness, not shame, rage, pure burning rage. I rip off the veil, unhook the dress, let it fall to the floor. The consultant gasps. Send the bill to Victoria Kingsley, I say. My voice is calm now. Too calm. She wanted me out of it. She can pay for it. I walk out in my underwear and Sarah's coat, head high. Heartbroken, but something else is starting to burn. A plan, a very specific plan. But let me back up. Let me tell you how a girl from Oklahoma ended up in a Manhattan bridal shop being destroyed by a billionaire's mother. And more importantly, how I destroyed her right back. The charity gala was Victoria's idea. Of course it was. She had to save face. The newspaper story made her look generous. But whispers were starting. People asking questions. Why now? Why these specific charities? So she threw a gala. Mount Sinai Children's Hospital fundraiser. Black tie, Plaza Hotel, 500 guests. She invited me. The invitation came by courier, heavy cardstock, gold lettering. Mrs. Victoria Kingsley requests the honor of your presence. Sarah, read it over my shoulder. You're not actually going. Oh, I'm going. This is a trap. I know. That's why I'm bringing reinforcements. I wore red, bright, bold red, the kind of dress Victoria would hate. I bought it with my own money. Wore my mother's cheap earrings, pulled my hair back simple. Sarah came with me, so did Robert Chen, and 3 families whose grandparents were displaced by the Kingsleys in the 1960s. I'd found them through public records, invited them personally. We walked into that ballroom like we owned it. Victoria saw me immediately. Her face went rigid. She was standing with Ethan and Amanda Whitmore. Of course Amanda was there. Ethan looked confused. What are you doing here? Your mother invited me. Didn't she tell you? Victoria's smile was plastic. Emily, how lovely. I didn't think you come. Wouldn't miss it. This is your big night. The program started. Speeches. Thank yous. Then Victoria took the stage. She looked perfect. Cream-colored gown. Diamonds. Hair like a helmet. Thank you all for coming. Tonight, we celebrate generosity, community. The Kingsley family is proud to donate $5 million to Mount Sinai Children's Hospital. Applause. Cameras flashing. We believe in giving back, in helping those less fortunate. I stood up, walked to the front. Victoria's eyes went wide. Mrs. Kingsley, may I say something? The room went silent. Ethan half stood. Security moved forward. Victoria's voice was tight. Emily, this isn't the time. I think it's the perfect time. I turned to the crowd, 500 faces staring at me. My name is Emily Carter. I'm a pediatric oncology nurse at Mount Sinai. I also used to be engaged to Mrs. Kingsley's son. Murmurs, whispers. Mrs. Kingsley's donation is incredibly generous, but I want everyone to know why she's really giving this money. Victoria stepped forward. Emily, don't. 60 years ago, her father displaced over 300 families, immigrant families, poor families. He bribed officials, used shell companies, built this family's fortune on other people's suffering. The room erupted. Cameras turning. Reporters scrambling. That donation, it's not generosity. It's guilt money, and it's not nearly enough. I gestured to the 3 families I'd brought. They stood. These people's grandparents lost their homes, lost their businesses. Some lost everything. The Kingsleys never apologized, never made it right until now, until someone forced them to. Ethan was staring at his mother. Mom, is this true? Victoria's face crumbled. Ethan, it was a different time. My father did what he had to do. He destroyed people's lives to build ours. Everything you have, this family, this name, it came from those decisions. Robert Chen stood up. I'm Robert Chen. I covered this story in 1974. The Kingsleys threatened me, got me fired, buried the truth for decades. Security was surrounding us now, but the damage was done. I looked at Victoria. You called me trash. You said I didn't belong in your world. You were right. I don't belong in a world built on lies. I turned to Ethan. He looked shattered. I loved you. I really did, but you chose her. Every single time. You let her destroy me and you did nothing. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. There's a difference. Amanda touched his arm. He pulled away. Victoria grabbed my wrist. You've ruined everything. I pulled free. No, I exposed everything. There's a difference. Security escorted us out. The ballroom was chaos. Reporters shouting, guests arguing, Victoria standing frozen on stage. Outside, Sarah hugged me. You absolute legend. Robert Chen was already on his phone. This is going to be front page again. National news. The families I brought thanked me. One older woman, Mrs. Rodriguez, held my hands. My grandmother died never getting justice. Thank you for making them see. I cried then. Finally, not from pain, from relief. My phone buzzed. Text from Ethan. We need to talk. I deleted it. The engagement was announced in the New York Times. Ethan Kingsley and Emily Carter. His family threw a party at their country club. 200 guests. I knew 3 people. Victoria introduced me to everyone the same way. This is Emily. She's a nurse. Ethan met her at the hospital. Never. This is my future daughter-in-law. Never. We're so happy. Just, she's a nurse. Like a warning label. Wedding planning started immediately. Victoria insisted on helping. I thought maybe this was her way of bonding. I was so naive. First, the venue. I wanted something small, a garden, maybe a vineyard upstate. Victoria said no. The Kingsleys don't do small, dear. We have a reputation. She booked the plaza. Grand ballroom. 800 guests. Most of them I'd never met. But I don't know. 800 people. You will. They're family friends. Business associates. This wedding represents the family. Not us. The family. Next, the dress. I had an appointment at a boutique in Brooklyn. Affordable. Beautiful. Victoria canceled it. I've made an appointment at Kleinfeld. Much more appropriate. The dresses there started at $10,000. I couldn't breathe looking at the price tags. Victoria pointed at the most expensive one. That one. Very elegant. I hated it. Too much lace. Too heavy. But she'd already pulled out her credit card. My gift to you. It felt like a chain. The flowers were next. I wanted wildflowers. Simple. Colorful. Victoria called the florist directly. White roses. Orchids. Classic. When I objected, she smiled. Darling, you have lovely ideas, but you don't understand our world yet. Trust me. Every decision. Every detail. She took control, and Ethan just watched. She wants to help Em. Let her do this. This is our wedding, Ethan, not hers. I know, but it makes her happy. Can't we just go along with it? I started to realize something. Ethan didn't want a partner. He wanted someone who wouldn't make waves, someone who fit into his life without changing it. The bridal shower was worse. Victoria hosted it at her townhouse. 50 women. All her friends, none of mine, except Sarah. They played games, guessed the bride's favorite things. None of them knew anything about me. They guessed Chanel perfume. I wore drugstore body spray. They guessed Paris for honeymoon. We were going to Costa Rica. Victoria laughed it off. Well, she's full of surprises. One of her friends, a woman in pearls in a Chanel suit, leaned over. Where did you say you're from again, dear? Oklahoma. Oh, she sipped champagne. How rustic. Sarah squeezed my hand under the table. Later, she pulled me aside. And this is toxic. These people will never accept you. They just need time. No, they need you gone, and they're going to make your life hell until you leave. I didn't want to hear it. I went back to the party. Victoria was opening gifts. Someone gave me lingerie. Victoria held it up. How adorable. From Target. Everyone laughed. I sat there, burning with shame. That night, Ethan asked how it went. Fine. Mom said you seemed quiet. Your mom humiliated me in front of 50 people. She was just joking around. Don't be so sensitive. Don't be so sensitive. I heard that a lot. 2 weeks before the wedding, I tried one last time. I baked a pie. Apple. My mom's recipe. The only thing from home I wanted at the rehearsal dinner. I brought it to the townhouse. Victoria was in the kitchen with the caterer. I set the pie on the counter. I made this. I thought maybe we could serve it at the rehearsal dinner. It's my mom's recipe, kind of a way to include her. Victoria looked at the pie, then at me. How sweet. She picked it up, walked to the trash can, dropped it in. We have a pastry chef, dear, flown in from Paris. We don't need homemade desserts. She turned back to the caterer like I wasn't there. I stood frozen, watching my mother's pie sitting in the garbage, crust broken, apples spilling out. Ethan found me crying in the hallway. What happened? Your mother threw away my pie. She's just stressed. The wedding is in 2 weeks. Everyone's on edge. She threw it in the trash, Ethan, right in front of me. He sighed. Like I was the problem. Can you just get through the next 2 weeks, please? Then we'll be married and everything will calm down. I wanted to believe him, so I nodded, wiped my eyes, went home. But Sarah's words kept echoing. They're going to make your life hell until you leave. I was starting to think she was right. The story went viral, not just newspapers, social media, cable news. Everyone was talking about the Kingsley family's dark secret. Victoria resigned from 3 charity boards. 2 museums removed her from their donor walls. Her society friends stopped calling. Ethan tried to reach me for weeks. Calls, texts, emails. I blocked him on everything. Finally, he showed up at the hospital, waited outside the pediatric wing. I finished my shift and found him there. Please, just 5 minutes. I was tired. 12-hour shift, 3 kids in crisis. I didn't have energy for this. What do you want, Ethan? I'm sorry. For everything. For not standing up to her. For choosing wrong. Okay, that's it? What do you want me to say? That I forgive you? That we can try again? He looked hopeful. Actually hopeful. I broke up with Amanda. I told my mother we're not speaking until she apologizes to you properly. I'm trying to make this right. You can't. Some things you can't fix. But I love you. No, Ethan. You love the idea of me. The girl who didn't make waves. Who fit quietly into your life. But that's not who I am. I know that now. It's too late. He reached for my hand. I stepped back. I deserved better. From day one. And you never gave it to me. I hope you find someone who fits your world. Someone your mother approves of. Someone who doesn't have to fight for basic respect. I walked away. He didn't follow. Sarah took me out that night. Dive bar in Queens. Cheap beer. Good music. How do you feel? She asked. Free. And I meant it. The hospital promoted me 3 months later. Charge nurse. Better pay. Better hours. I moved into my own apartment. Small, but mine. I started dating again. Slow. Careful. A teacher named Marcus. He'd grown up in the Bronx, worked 2 jobs to put himself through college. He understood struggle. He met my mom when she visited. They talked for hours about nothing and everything. I like him, Mom said. He's real. Real. The best compliment she could give. 6 months after the gala, I got a letter. Victoria Kingsley, handwritten. Emily, I underestimated you. That was my mistake. You were right. About everything. I built my life on my father's choices. I never questioned them. I should have. I'm sorry for how I treated you. You deserved respect. You never got it from me. I hope someday you can forgive me, but I understand if you can't. I read it 3 times, then I put it in a drawer. I wasn't ready to forgive. Maybe I never would be, but I didn't need to. Forgiveness was for me, not her. A year later, I'm standing in my apartment, Saturday morning, coffee brewing, Marcus is making breakfast, Sarah's coming over later. My phone rings, unknown number. I almost don't answer. Emily Carter? Yes? This is Janet Morrison. I'm producing a documentary about economic injustice and real estate development. I heard about what you did. I'd love to interview you. I smile because my story isn't over. It's just beginning. Victoria thought she could throw me away. She was wrong. I'm still here, still fighting, still showing up, and I'm not trash. I'm the girl who took down a dynasty with nothing but courage and truth. That's not trash. That's power. I arrived at the Kingsley townhouse at 2 p.m. Perfect hair, perfect makeup. The dress Victoria had picked out for a family dinner months ago. Conservative, appropriate, exactly what she wanted. The butler let me in. Miss Carter, Mrs. Kingsley is in the sitting room. Victoria was waiting. Tea service on the table. She looked pleased, triumphant. Emily, I'm glad you came to your senses. I sat down, folded my hands, smiled. Mrs. Kingsley, I've been thinking about what you said. At the boutique. Good. Then you understand. I do. You were right. I don't belong in this world. She nodded, sipped her tea. I'm glad we can be honest. You're a sweet girl. But Ethan needs someone from his own background. Someone who understands our responsibilities. Someone like Amanda Whitmore. Her eyes flickered. Amanda was the daughter of another wealthy family. She'd been pursuing Ethan for years. Amanda would make an excellent match. I'm sure she would. I pulled an envelope from my purse, set it on the table. What's this? Victoria asked. A gift for being so honest with me. She opened it, started reading. Her face went white. Inside were copies of everything. Her father's illegal real estate deals, the bribed officials, the displaced families, the sealed lawsuit, photos of people being evicted from their homes, and a note, handwritten. These documents will be published in the New York Times this Friday, unless we reach an agreement. Victoria's hands shook. Where did you get this? Does it matter? This is ancient history. No one cares about things that happened 60 years ago. Really? Because I spoke to 3 major newspapers. They all care very much, especially when it involves current city council members whose parents took those bribes. Some of them are still in office. She stood up. You're blackmailing me. No, I'm negotiating, like you people do. Ethan will never forgive you. Ethan doesn't know, and he won't. If you do exactly what I say. Victoria sat back down. She looked older suddenly, smaller. What do you want? I pulled out a list. Typed, detailed. First, you will write a check to the Mount Sinai Children's Hospital, $5 million, in honor of Connor, Ethan's nephew. The boy who's actually the reason I met your son. Her jaw clenched. Fine. Second, you will donate $2 million to a housing fund for low-income families displaced by development. I'll choose the organization. Anything else? Yes. You will call Ethan. Right now. You will tell him that you were wrong about me, that you behaved terribly, that you hope he can forgive you. Absolutely not. I leaned forward. Then the Times runs the story. Your family name gets dragged through every newspaper in the country. Your charity boards will drop you. Your society friends will whisper. Your pristine reputation will be destroyed. You wouldn't. Try me. I have nothing to lose. You took my wedding, my dignity, my pie from my mother. What exactly do you think I'm afraid of? Silence. Long, heavy. Victoria picked up her phone, hands still shaking, dialed Ethan. Darling, it's Mother. I need to speak with you about Emily. I listened as she apologized, stiff, forced, but she did it. When she hung up, I stood. The checks. Tomorrow. Certified. Or the story runs. You're making a mistake. No, Mrs. Kingsley, you made the mistake. You thought I was weak. You thought I'd just disappear. I walked to the door. Stopped. Oh, and one more thing. I'm still canceling the wedding. Not because you want me to. Because I deserve better than your son. I left her sitting there, surrounded by her expensive furniture and her ugly secrets. Outside, Sarah was waiting in her car. How'd it go? I smiled. She's writing the checks. Holy shit, Em. You actually did it. Not yet. One more thing. I called Robert Chen. I need you to write the story anyway. Everything. But not about blackmail. About redemption. About how the Kingsley family is finally making amends. He laughed. You're turning her villain moment into a PR victory for her. While exposing what her family did. Yes, you're diabolical. I learned from the best. The story ran 2 weeks later. Front page. The Kingsley family's dark history. Victoria's massive charitable donations. Framed as atonement. She couldn't deny any of it without admitting the blackmail. So she stayed silent. Perfect. My name is Emily Carter. I'm 26 years old. I grew up in a trailer park outside Tulsa, Oklahoma. Rusty swing sets, cracked pavement, the smell of fried food and cigarette smoke. That was home. My mom worked 3 jobs: gas station cashier, night shift at a diner, weekend cleaning houses. My dad left when I was 4. I don't remember his face, just the sound of the door slamming. Mom used to say, "Baby, we don't have money, but we have something better. We have fight." She was right. I worked since I was 14, babysitting, mowing lawns, stocking shelves at Dollar General. I studied in the back of the diner while Mom served coffee. I got a full scholarship to nursing school, not because I was special. Because I worked like my life depended on it. It did. At 23, I graduated, packed one suitcase, moved to New York, got a job at Mount Sinai Children's Hospital, pediatric oncology, the hardest floor, the saddest cases, but also the most important. I loved those kids. Every single one. I learned their favorite cartoons, braided hair, held hands during chemo. I wasn't saving the world, but I was showing up. That mattered. That's where I met Ethan. He walked onto my floor one Tuesday afternoon. Tall, dark suit, tired eyes, looking for his nephew's room. Little boy named Connor, leukemia, 7 years old. I showed Ethan to the room. We talked while Connor slept. Ethan was a lawyer, corporate contracts, boring stuff, but he loved that kid, visited 3 times a week, brought toys, read stories, never missed a treatment day. I thought, this is a good man. This is someone who shows up. We started dating 2 months later. Coffee after my shifts, walks through Central Park. He made me laugh. He listened when I talked about work. He didn't care that I lived in a studio apartment in Queens with 2 roommates. Or so I thought. Rooftop restaurant, ring in the champagne glass, the whole thing. I cried, said yes, called my mom. She cried too. Then Ethan said, "I want you to meet my family." That's when everything changed. The Kingsley family wasn't just rich. They were old money, Manhattan real estate, buildings with their name on bronze plaques. Ethan's grandfather bought half of the Upper East Side in the 1950s. His father expanded into commercial properties. They owned hotels, office towers, luxury condos. Ethan worked at the family law firm. Not because he had to, because it was expected. His mother was Victoria Kingsley, 60 years old, blonde hair, always perfect, clothes that cost more than my annual rent. She ran charity galas, sat on museum boards, appeared in society magazines. She terrified me. Our first dinner was at their townhouse, 5 stories, marble everything. A butler answered the door, an actual butler. Victoria waited in the dining room. She didn't hug me, didn't smile, just extended one hand. Her grip was cold. So you're the nurse? Not nice to meet you, not welcome. Just, you're the nurse, like it was a diagnosis. Dinner was worse. Crystal glasses, 7 courses. I didn't know which fork to use. Victoria watched every move. She asked about my family. And what do your parents do? I swallowed. My mom works at a diner. My dad's not in the picture. Silence. The kind that feels like judgment. Ethan jumped in. Emily's amazing with kids, Mom. She works in pediatric oncology. It's incredibly demanding. Victoria smiled, tight, fake. How noble. The word hung in the air. Noble. Like charity work. Like I was performing goodness instead of living it. After dinner, Ethan drove me home. He held my hand. She'll warm up. She's protective. Give her time. I wanted to believe him. He kissed me. Said he loved me. I said it back. But something felt wrong. I ignored it. Because I loved Ethan. Because I thought love was enough. I was so stupid. Over the next 6 months, I tried everything. I brought homemade cookies to family dinners. Victoria gave them to a housekeeper. I dressed up. She commented that my dress was cute. Cute. Like a child. I asked her about her charity work. She talked about galas and auctions, then asked if I'd ever been to the opera. No, ma'am. Of course not. Ethan always defended me with words, never with actions. He'd say, Mom, that's not fair. But he never left the table, never told her to stop, never chose me over keeping the peace. I told myself it would get better after the wedding, that once we were married, Victoria would have to accept me. I was wrong about that too. Sarah drove me home from the boutique. I sat in the passenger seat wearing her coat and my underwear. The wedding dress was still on the floor at Kleinfeld. I didn't care. My phone started ringing. Ethan. I declined. He called again. Again. Finally, I answered. Mom said there was an incident at the boutique. What happened? An incident, like I spilled coffee, like I caused a scene. Your mother called me trash in front of everyone. She said the wedding is canceled. Silence. Then, she was probably just upset. You know how she gets. Like it was weather, like it was something we all had to tolerate. Ethan, she humiliated me. She called me a charity project. She said I'm not Kingsley material. Okay, that's harsh. I'll talk to her. You'll talk to her? What do you want me to do, Em? She's my mother. She's set in her ways. But she'll come around after the wedding. Something broke inside me. Clean. Final. There's not going to be a wedding. Don't be dramatic. You're upset. We'll figure this out. I just got called trash by your mother, and you're telling me not to be dramatic. She didn't mean it like that. How did she mean it, Ethan? Explain it to me, he stammered. She's protective. She wants the best for me, and I'm not the best. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. I hung up. He called back immediately. I turned off my phone. Sarah helped me inside my apartment. My roommates were at work. I sat on the couch in her coat, staring at the wall. You okay? Sarah asked. No. She made tea, set it on the coffee table, sat next to me. What are you going to do? I don't know. But that was a lie. I knew exactly what I was going to do. The idea was already forming. Clear. Perfect. Brutal. Victoria thought I was trash. She thought I didn't belong in her world. She thought she could throw me away like my mother's pie. She was wrong. I opened my laptop, started researching. The Kingsley family, their business, their reputation, their dirty secrets. Every wealthy family has them. You just have to know where to look. It took 3 days. 3 days of digging through public records, court documents, old newspaper archives, business filings. I found it. Victoria's father, Ethan's grandfather, the man who built the family fortune. He didn't buy that real estate legally. He used shell companies, bribed city officials, displaced hundreds of low-income families in the 1950s and 60s, immigrants, poor people, people like me. There was a lawsuit, settled quietly, sealed records, but not completely sealed. I found a retired journalist, man named Robert Chen. He'd covered this story 40 years ago, before the Kingsleys paid everyone to shut up. I called him. Mr. Chen, my name is Emily Carter. I'm researching the Kingsley real estate empire. I heard you wrote about them in the 70s. He laughed, dark, bitter. The Kingsleys, those vultures. Yeah, I wrote about them. Then I got threats, lost my job. They buried that story so deep I thought it would never surface. What if I could bring it back? Silence. Then, who are you? Someone they underestimated. He agreed to meet me. We sat in a coffee shop in Queens. He brought copies of everything, photos of displaced families, documents showing bribes, testimony from people who lost their homes. This is dynamite, he said, but they'll destroy you if you use it. They already tried. I called my mom that night, told her everything, the bridal shop, Victoria's words, the canceled wedding. She was quiet for a long time. Baby, you sure about what you're gonna do? I'm sure. Then do it right. Make it hurt. I smiled for the first time in days. I will, Mama. I promise. I called Ethan the next morning. Calm. Controlled. I want to meet with your mother one last time to apologize. He sounded relieved. Really? That's great. I knew you'd come around. Can you set it up tomorrow at the townhouse? Of course. She'll be so happy. No, she wouldn't. But she'd learn something important. Never underestimate trash from a trailer park.